get to introduce Stacy Green, and she is a former client of the Center for Justice. And so she's going to tell you a bit of her experience of what the center can do for people here in Spokane. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. My first experience with the Center for Justice was in 2005. My life was a mess. I was working over 50 hours a week. I was a single parent of 2 young boys. My wages were being garnished from unpaid tickets, and I was battling a drug addiction. During this time, there was a referral made to Child Protective Services about the conditions of my home. I called the Center for Justice. I spoke to Sue Ellen. I went down and talked to her. They then called the social worker and learned that there had to be a home visit. The day of the visit, I was unable to take off time from work. I remember getting ready for work, looking out the window, seeing 2 Suburbans pull up, and I thought, this is it, they've come to take my children. When in fact, I opened the door, and it was Sue Ellen. And a team of people from the Center for Justice. They had brooms in their hand, garbage bags, a truck going out the back, and they were there to help me. They told me to go to work, everything would be okay. As I drove to work, I felt comfortable and safe that they were dealing with this issue for me. They were there, they met with the social worker. I got home from work, and when I saw my house, I was truly amazed. They had made it so comfortable and livable for me and my children. I never thought that anyone could feel this way about me and my kids. They made me feel worth it. They made me feel like my life was so important, a drug addict, that they would take time off of work to come help me. And the giving didn't stop there. That year, I was also served with divorce papers, which required a response and a parenting plan for me. I was so deep into my addiction, I couldn't foresee myself making it down to the courthouse to fill out the right papers, let alone get them filed on time. I again called Center for Justice. I went down, we got the paperwork filed on a timely manner, which resulted in me keeping custody of my oldest son. Over the next year and a half, I battled my addiction more than I ever had before. In May 2007, my life came to a screeching halt. My son was staying with his father. His father and his girlfriend decided to go to the casino, and the babysitter left the kids alone. By the time I found out what was going on, my son was in protective custody, and they wouldn't tell me where he was, and they wouldn't let me see him. All I knew to do was I called the Center for Justice. Sue Ellen told me, Stacy, I'm sorry, but I can't help you this time. This is something you have to do for yourself. You want to fight for your kids, you need to fight your addiction first. And even though that's not what I wanted to hear, I knew she was right. 2 days later, I went to my sheltered care hearing with her words in my head, and that's when I made the decision to change my life. 4 days later, I was on a plane to Longview. I checked into the Drug Abuse Prevention Center. 31 days later, my son joined me in treatment. 6 months later, I graduated. November 27th, we came home. We didn't have anything, just the suitcases full of clothes that we went to treatment with. We stayed in a shelter for 2 months, and through the family unification program, thanks to my CPS worker, I was able to get subsidized housing, and now we have a place of our own. Today, I stand before you with 9 months clean and a future. A future that includes me starting college in the spring. And currently, I'm working through Career Path Services. And they told me that you need to get on-the-job training and work experience if you want to get back into life. And when they asked me if I had ever heard of Center for Justice, I said, oh yeah. They said, well, that's where we want you to work. So I get to volunteer there 20 hours a week. And every day when I ride the bus to work, I don't think about the projects they're going to have me do, or how hard it's going to be, or how nervous I might be. Every day I think, this is another day, another chance for me to give back to them what they so graciously gave to me these past 3 years, which was devotion compassion, and 100% acceptance. And for that, I will be forever grateful. Thank you.